Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger. And my friends, this is part of our ongoing look at characters in Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Just what the game has to offer for them now and what the new custom variations in competitive play also has to give them. And today, by very popular request, we are looking at Jade. So the variation we will be looking at today has Air Razorrang, which was always part of Variation 1, so that's nothing new. It's a classically strong move. We have Deadly Assassin, which was only ever really in Variation 3 before, which was a less than popular variation, let's put it that way. And we also have Delia's Dance, which was never before in a competitive variation. And this is kind of the glue that will tie everything together, and we'll probably have the most to say about this. But yeah, so Razorrang, Deadly Assassin, Delia's Dance, this is what we will be working with. So now to talk about the moves as a bit of an overview, let's start with the Air Razorrang. So this has been one of her classically strongest moves since the start of the game, right? So I don't need to belabor it too much. Even on block and your spacing is not perfect, you know, it's very safe. Only when you're just really badly spaced. Even this, most characters can't punish that at all, right? Only a few chosen characters can punish that. So you can be pretty bad with the spacing and still get a lot of reward. And of course, if you're willing to burn a bar, all of a sudden your negative frames turn into plus frames. Even point blank, as close as you can do it, that is still +9, which means basically you still gotta worry like back 3, all that kind of stuff, right? So spacing is very generous to begin with, and when you're willing to burn a bar, hey, is no longer a concern. Also, the move gives a lot of combo ability if it catches an airborne foe. Either you hit them with a jump kick and you go right into it, or you catch them in the middle of a jump trying to get around this or whatever. Very easy to go into glow kick and just go from there. And maybe even a little bit more depending on the situation. And say you were to catch them in the corner. And this is by no means an optimal combo, just an idea, but you know, get the idea, right? You're always able to convert, sometimes big, sometimes small, but just the ability to convert at all is still pretty big, considering it is an air projectile that eats up a lot of real estate. And due to its curving arc at the very end, you can hit with it from very, very far away. And the EX follow-up has even better tracking than that. So very, very strong, very, very good. Not much more to say. Of course, it makes it in. Now, Deadly Assassin. This gives us more tools to play with in our base moveset, as it gives us a lot of more just combo strings. Now, a few of these, you know, they look cool, but like, I don't know how much they actually add, because you're definitely going to be wanting using different strings in these situations, like, you know, back 3-4-3, that kind of stuff. But two of these are very, very big winners, and the reason we're picking them. One, it just modifies your basic sweep. It makes it a two-hitting move. So one, your sweep does more damage. Hey, that's fine, right? And two, it extends the hitbox with that second hit by a large amount here. So effectively from the round 1 fight position where you start a round, all of a sudden your sweep can connect. And you have other long-range moves to be sure, but either they don't hit on their first frame or that kind of stuff. This is basically your longest range normal tool, because anything else basically will just not connect or not connect fast enough from that position. Whereas this, you don't move forward, you don't risk yourself in any real way, you just stay completely stationary, so if you whiff, you're not closer to the enemy or anything like that. Makes whiff punching all the more difficult. And it's just an extra little tool, and once again, 7% on the hit, right? So it's not even that bad. And the big one here, back to the wiggle stick. It gives you a whole new, very long string to work with here. And back to 1, 2, 4. That guy right there. And this is very good for a lot of reasons and a lot of synergy, which we'll go over later on. But you get the base hit, and from there, you get another hit, a low, and 2 overheads. So, you know, if you don't know what the string is, you're probably going to get bought because you have to know the block low, then the double overhead. And it gets a little trickier, which we'll go over later on. But just in and of itself, it makes her basically best whiff punish string even better, because all of a sudden now if you catch a move, you catch a whiff, that whiff punch would go from like this, you know, almost 14% to this. Which is, you know, a little bit over 22%. So it just gives you a lot more damage, a lot more utility on something you're going to be using a lot of anyways. And of course the synergy with Delia's Dance. So let's talk about Delia's Dance. So Delia's dance. So Jade watched a lot of Killick in Soul Calibur. And just kind of knocking you at your feet here. These are both true lows, so they have to be crouch blocking here. And if you're willing to burn a bar after the fact, you get a bit of a follow-up. Once again, very reminiscent of Killick. So here's the thing. One, that bar burning on top of doing more damage also makes the move completely safe, so it's negative 13. And if you want to burn that bar, it's negative 7 with pushback, which is effectively a full neutral reset. And the other big thing here, combo-wise, like back 3-4-3, you play Jade at all, you're going to be using the string a lot. And if you use it in a combo here, Delia's Dance, it leaves the foe standing, and you at plus 8 frames of advantage. A common trick with Jade is to do this and go for EX Ran, right? So it leaves the foe standing at 18% and you're plus 10 frames with some pushback. So here, it's a little bit less damage, but you don't have to burn any bar, and it's only 2 less frames of advantage as well, but there's 0 pushback, meaning you can just go right back into the blender. The opponent, for no meter now, no meter spent at all, the opponent is in an immediate guess strike or grab mix-up. And the frame data being what it is, it's very difficult to jump out of if you think you're going to try to jump a throw and get hit instead, because a lot of times in this game you jump, and yeah, you'll take a couple of the hits, but you're out of dodge for the most part. Here, maybe not so much, right? So I'm going to try to jump out. Oh, and I take all 3 hits of the kicks anyways, if I were to try to jump out. So, you know, the jump ain't saving you on that one. But yeah, so in and of itself, it's just a meterless way to do the same thing you did before, and just go back into the string right away, or go back into a throw. And the opponent has to guess, and since you're directly on top of them, there is no need to move for the throw and any of the wonkiness that can entail, because with a Rang follow-up here, you got to take a step forward, and by that point, maybe they can neutral duck and then uppercut punish you, all that kind of stuff. So it's just basically a way to do the same thing, and just a little bit better yet. And of course, you can cash out and get your damage if you want, so 90%, almost 20, and it actually does more damage than Glow Kick EX, and it doesn't switch sides. So if you're just looking for damage, this is also your best bet. So now let's tie this all together with the blender, because blender is the word for it. I know a lot of people complain, oh, there's not as much mix-up in Mortal Kombat 11 compared to MKX, and that's 100% by design. But with Jade, with this variation, we start getting that mix-up back just a little bit. Now, there is some flaws to what I'm about to tell you, and I'll cover that after the initial part here, but just to go over stuff. So part 1 of the blender is just what we talked about before, right? So back 3-4 into Delia's Dance, leaves you plus 8, they're standing, you're in their face, it's immediate a strike grab mix-up, and they got no other choice than to guess. So I do this, alright, if you tried to jump or whatever, you just need another one of those, and we just go back into it, or if you're airborne, I'll hit you with a glow kick or something. And if you didn't do anything more passive, you get thrown, go from there, right? We already just talked about that. But let's talk about the enhanced string version from this guy right here. Now, if this connects... Oh, that's not a good mix-up, right? You just let it rock if it connects. That's fine. But if the enemy were to block... Alright, so mid, low, overhead, overhead. And here's the easiest layer to all this. So before you get to those double overheads... Oh, you just go for Delia's Dance, which is, once again, a double low. So if they try to stand block at all, well, you got. And once again, keep in mind here, once you get got with this, you plus 8 restand, and that's where all the pressure re-begins and starts, and all the madness from there, right? Every one of these that lands is now also an additional coin flip. Okay, striker grab, yes. And that's basically what puts us here. So every time you go for the string, you're trying to make the enemy guess, okay, am I going to go for the Delia's Dance low, or am I just going to let it rock and do the double overheads? And each point, coin flip, coin flip, coin flip, you gotta guess which one's going to happen. There's ways out-ish, sorta, but that is the core essence of it. I make you block this, and now flip a coin, because there's really no way to double block in my testing that's any kind of reliable. Like, you know, I can fuzzy and do one or the other. Like, the frames will tell you it's 32 frames, but that's for the initial follow-up. As far as I can tell, Delia's and the double overheads are in comparable timing. So, just being able to block both isn't really happening. Now here's the weakness to this setup here. That specific string, the one I've been doing the whole time here, the extended string follow-ups, there are 2 different flawless blockable gaps. And you might think that's the death sentence, but it's not really, but let's show you what's up with that anyways first. The first flawless blockable gap is right there. And this is the big one, because I can just flawless block it and punish you. And in fact, I don't even have to flawless block it, I can just punish you anyways, right? So as soon as I block this, I can go for whatever I'm going to go for if you choose to keep the string going. Now, that's not the end of the string. Trust me, there's still more to talk about here. But that is part 1, and part 2 is the low. So I can flawless block that as well. That flawless block, however, so tight, even if I were to try to like flawless block up to it, I'm still getting hit out of it. So the only option is to up 3 it. And if you didn't up 3 it, you could flawless block it all you want. It didn't actually matter. Okay, so now you know some of the weaknesses around it. Well, basically it just adds more layer to the mix-up. So now that we know we can easily defeat it just by hitting a button after the second hit of that string, well, let's try that out. All right, time to hit a button. Oh, turns out you can Delia's dance right after it as well anyways, right? So if you tried to hit a button and tried to take that turn, well, then you just got Delia's danced, and then, you know, hey, you're back in the blender, guess back 3, guess throw, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of where the crux of it is. And of course, you can always burn a bar to make it completely safe with neutral pushback. And honestly, with the pushback that it puts you at, against most characters, this is perfect space just to back up and back 2 again, right? Like, so a lot of characters, but not every character, but a lot of characters, they just kind of have to groove on that. So basically at every point, there's like a hole you can put in it. You can plug that hole with Delia's dance. And if you get blocked, then whatever, you just reset the neutral with a cost of 1 bar. And if you get a hit, then it's blender time again. And effectively at that point, we're just going for another spin of the cycle. So effectively, this form of Jade, this variation of Jade we picked, combined with, you know, just the general power of the air rangs and all that kind of stuff, along with the Delia's dance, is making Jade as annoying as possible. Every time you get hit, you're going to get Delia danced. And every time you get Delia's danced, you're in a blender. So guess throw, guess strike, all that kind of stuff. And any normal hit can lead into it. And of course, now we got this whole string here just to make our life just a little bit easier and your life just a little bit harder to get into it as well. On top of, you know, hey, we got a really cool long-range sweep as well. So this variation is all about basically making your opponent flip coin, flip coin, flip coin, flip coin, guess, 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 guess. So if you love the 50-50s of MKX, my friend, this is the variation for you. And that's about all there is to say on Jade. So I don't think Jade's exactly rocketing up the tier list with this. She certainly is not Liu Kang. She certainly isn't Joker, even with this in mind. But it's a new and strong way to play her, kind of doubling down on some of her classic strengths, like air rang, right? And just giving her a very frustrating and annoying blender to work with, right? Delia's dance, once you master it, and I've been up against, and I can tell you this, if you're on the side of Delia's dance, it's all groovy, and if you're up against Delia's dance, it makes you feel stupid. Because every time you get hit, you just gotta guess, and it's not fun to just guess as a defender. So if you're looking to cause some rage, this might be a good variation for it. And my friends, other than that, I guess that's all there is to say. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Mortal Kombat.